Palmer, it's Mississippi State, South Carolina, Vandy. What do we expect to happen elsewhere with the schedule? Is the Missouri game going to float into a championship game weekend for Georgia?
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I know Missouri and Vanderbilt were supposed to play earlier this season, had that game moved to December 12th. Georgia, as of now, does not have a game on that 12th. So it may end up being a bye week, and then they play on the 19th, which is SEC Championship Saturday. But looking across the league, I think there's a lot of questions because, ultimately you've got LSU with games that were postponed against Alabama and Florida, and both those teams are looking like they're going to play in the SEC Championship. So you're not going to be able to make up one of those on December 19th. So, I have no clue. I think that's the, story of this year. The uncertainty of when things are going to happen. All I know is that, Georgia's supposed to play Mississippi State on Saturday, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Georgia can do with potentially JT Daniels at quarterback.
What are the players talking about, Kirby Smart talking about, because this is the first time that pretty much this entire roster, for the most part, is playing November football without a championship on the line?
Yeah, like you said earlier in the show, first time since 2016 that they'll likely not be making an appearance in the SEC Championship. That was Smart's first season, and there's a couple guys left over from that team, but for the most part, the seniors on this team were freshmen in 2017 when they went to the SEC Championship and National Championship. So, like you said, it's new territory for Georgia playing not meaningless November football, but football in November that's not going to get them in the college football playoffs or SEC Championship or whatever. More so you're competing for, are you going to make a New Year's Six bowl game, or are you going to be the representative in the Orange Bowl or in the Citrus Bowl or Outback Bowl? I think with this team, there's a lot of pride. You've got some seniors that came back for a chance to win the national championship. And you haven't seen those guys opt out since they've gotten out of contention, and they've had their time. They've had 2 weeks since that Florida loss. There's guys across the country that have opted out. And that easily could have been a route that Monty Rice went down. He's been playing banged up. Richard LeCount, who suffered, was involved in a scary automobile accident after the Kentucky game, missed the Florida game, and could easily just say, hey, I'm going to hang it up. I'm going to go, sit out the rest of this season and prepare for the NFL. He's tweeted, I'm not opting out. I want to get back out on the field. I want to, finish my career at Georgia in pads. I don't want to do it in sweats. And so, I think that shit says a lot about, where Kirby Smart has gotten this program, where some of those leaders are in terms of, their mindset and wanting to finish this season out strong. And I think, like you said, the schedule fares well for Georgia. Very front-loaded schedule in terms of playing Auburn and Tennessee and Alabama and Florida in the first half of the season. And so, I think that there's a lot of potential to gain some momentum late in the season and carry it over into next year, given the fact that these last 4 games are very winnable. Could get Georgia into a good bowl game, play a quality opponent there, good performance there, and you take that momentum into a very challenging season opener next year against Clemson.
Yeah, you've got your players, coaches, hopefully not players and coaches, but certainly fan base and media that only care about championships and say, once you're out of the championship race, who cares? Play for next year, get the young guys ready. You got your other faction of people, me included, that care about rankings and records and bowl game appearances and so forth. So you finish off strong. You go 9-2. Your 2 losses were 2 to the top 5 teams in the country, and you win a major bowl game and you're 9-2, you're going to finish in the top 10 in the country if you're Georgia. And certainly that's who we're talking about. Palmer Tom's on the line from Dogs 247 Sports. Any thoughts on Mississippi State? This is the worst Bulldogs team that they've had in quite some time. Come out of the gate, go to Death Valley, put up 623 in the air on the defending national champions, but that was smoke and mirrors, and ever since it's been atrocious there.
Yeah, what I'll say about this game is it's going to be very interesting to see how Georgia defends them. Given the fact that Kirby Smart is, very adamant about playing man-to-man defense, that has not worked out well for teams against Mississippi State. Didn't work out well for LSU, like you mentioned, and you've seen teams go to a zone. Even when he's been questioned about, is he going to change his scheme? Is he going to, look into playing more zone defense? In terms of the performances against LSU last year in the SEC championship, Alabama and Florida this year, Kirby Smart has been pretty adamant on playing man-to-man defense. And so I don't know that he's going to play man-to-man defense this week. He compared this game to, the likes of going up against a triple option offense where you got to change your defense some. And so, obviously this is a completely different challenge than a triple option offense. It's opposite end of the spectrum entirely. Air raid offense, Mike Leach bringing something new to the SEC. And I think everyone's been trying to figure that out this year. So I think it'll be interesting to see how Georgia holds up. Scheme wise, are they going to try and go man to man, run with these receivers and get pressure on the quarterback? Because, Mississippi State is giving up, over 3 sacks a game, ranking 13th in the SEC with 3.17 there. Or are they going to, settle into a zone, be patient and force Mississippi State to throw the ball and allow their defenders to make plays on it? So that's something that interested me here. Obviously the quarterback situation, that's going to be a storyline for everyone across the country, not just here in Athens. It's something that a lot of people are looking at. And so, I think that there's a lot to be, a lot of stories that can come out of Saturday. I think, in terms of, like I said, the quarterback play on offense and the way Kirby Smart adjusts his scheme to go against this high-powered Mississippi State air raid offense.
It's dogs on dogs for just 1 out of every 6 years because of the rotational system there in the SEC. Mississippi State and Georgia on Saturday on the SEC Network. Palmer Tom's Dogs 247 Sports. Palmer, we appreciate you stopping by as always.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.